Before we get into the latest Cleveland Browns news and rumors, I invite you all to join us for our live watch party. We're going to be cracking some brews and enjoying the Browns preseason Week 1 matchup in Jacksonville this Friday. Game kicks off at 7 Eastern. We'll get started a little bit before then. So if you will be tuning in for our first ever live watch party for a Cleveland Browns game, type me down in the comment section. Today's edition of the Browns Report is presented to you by Aura, which is an all-in-one digital safety company that helps not only to keep your wallet secure and protected online, but also your identity, all right? Just like how Wyatt Teller and Joel Petonio are going to protect whoever the quarterback is this season, Aura will do the same for you. Plus, they're offering the Dog Pound a 14-day free trial. We'll tell you more about their awesome benefits later on. But coming up on today's show, we got a pretty jam-packed show, if I do say so myself. Could a Watson decision be coming as soon as tomorrow? Maybe even today. Maybe I'll be talking to you guys in a couple of hours. We will explore why that might be the case. Plus, Roger Goodell, he wants a year-long suspension. He spoke to the media on Tuesday, so we'll be looking at that. And we got some training camp news and notes to get to. But Goodell was in Minneapolis or in Bloomington, Minnesota the other day for the Broncos organization sale being pushed through and approved, and some reporters got an opportunity to ask him a couple of questions, all right? And, of course, the big one was, are you looking for a year-long suspension for Deshaun Watson? And here's what Roger Goodell said. We've seen the evidence. Sue L. Robinson was very clear about the evidence. Should we enforce the evidence? That there was multiple violations here, and they were egregious, and it was predatory behavior. Those are the things we always felt were important for us to address in a way that's responsible. I've got two theories, okay? Going full Brian Windhorst here. Theory number one here. The NFL is still trying to cover their tails in case Peter C. Harvey does not give him a year-long suspension, so Roger Goodell could turn to all their sponsors and turn to fans and media and go, sorry everyone, we asked for a year-long suspension. We were looking for it. Theory number two. The NFL knows that they are king, and they want, and what they want, they will get. And Peter C. Harvey is simply just a pawn on this chessboard here. Do you really think Goodell would pick someone who he was not sure how he would deliberate and rule? No, he went to one of his henchmen, one of his minions, and basically said, this is what we want. You're going to make the ruling. That way, it comes across as impartial, right? We had another independent person decide this. We had no say in the matter. Well, it's not really independent when it's your best friend, Roger. So, sure, that's probably not going to go across as maybe as clean as you would like it to think it would, but those are my two theories as to why Roger Goodell is pushing for a year-long suspension. He wants the optics to look good, and he wants what he wants, and he's going to get what he wants probably. Now, here's an interesting tweet I saw yesterday that I wanted to share with everyone watching. All right, Ed Weirder over at ESPN tweeting out, spoke to numerous NFL owners regarding the league appeal of Deshaun Watson's suspension. One described the penalty as too lenient. When I asked another whether Watson's suspension needed to be lengthened and fine added, he replied, there just needs to be more of everything. This is one of those moments where you got to take a step back and go, NFL owners want more from a Deshaun Watson suspension. Shocking, since the NFLPA basically threw a lack of overall accountability being put on the NFL owners as of late, and they're pretty grumpy about that. They did not like a couple of their old laundry being aired out in front of everyone. The NFLPA boosting up Robert Kraft, having no punishment when he went to a massage parlor before the AFC Championship game. Hell, Daniel Snyder's hanging out on his yacht in the south of France, avoiding subpoenas because of sexual misconduct that took place under his nose a decade ago. Shocker that NFL owners are like, yeah, let's throw the book at that Watson guy and take some of the heat off of us. Now, the big question in Cleveland right now is, will Deshaun Watson play in 2022? That is kind of where we got to this point. doesn't really seem like Peter's going to turn around and go, yeah, you know what? I thought Sue nailed it on the head. We're going to stick with 6 games, and that's all I wrote, folks. No, it won't be a Looney Tunes ending of the end. I think it's going to come up much higher than 6 games. So give me a P for play or an S for suspended. Now, we've got more to get to in just a second on Deshaun Watson, but I want to tell everyone watching about the great benefits that Aura is offering you guys. So, in a day and age where we do more online than ever before, Aura is going to be in your corner, making sure your credit card, your debit card, your identity is secure and protected when you're online. Another really cool feature that Aura is offering you, or what they have in store, is near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries. So, producer Marsh, he learned this the hard way, right? Where he had his credit card hacked and all of a sudden $800 for a hotel room in Portland, Oregon. I don't even know if Marsh could point to Oregon on a map, so that's definitely not him right there. Now, make sure you get started with a 14-day free trial when you go to aura.com/chatsports. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's go look at this tweet that came out just a little bit ago from Mary Kay saying, hearing the Browns would like to play Deshaun Watson some versus Jaguars Friday night in first preseason game if he's not suspended indefinitely for a minimum year by then. Now, I have a deep theory on maybe why this could be the case because, sure, it could make sense, of course, and I think it does make sense. The Browns want Deshaun Watson to knock some of the rust off. He didn't play football at all last year. Does he need to play in the preseason? Probably not, but at the same time, he could use some reps to learn his new offense and, develop a chemistry with DPJ and if Amari Cooper even plays at all. But kind of my deeper theory is, could the Browns be kind of baiting the NFL by saying, hey, we're going to play Watson this Friday if you guys don't make up your mind? That way they can expedite a decision, learn what Deshaun Watson's fate is, and if they need to explore a Jimmy Garoppolo trade or giving Jacoby Brissett the first team offense for the entire rest of training camp because Watson gets slapped with a year-long indefinite suspension. I think maybe the Browns are trying to play chess a little bit and move this process along so they know what to do and how to prepare for this season. Now, Mike Florio wrote about this, and let's check out what he said. The league wants Watson to be banished for a full calendar year. It's like medieval times. Here's an important question. If Harvey gives the NFL what it wants, and there are plenty of reasons to think he will Watson be immediately suspended? It makes logical sense. The analysis, if the league gets its way, pivots from specific games to broader chunks of time, 1 year starting now, no delay. Now, Florio followed up that piece with this tweet here saying, I did a little bit more work on this. The NFL did indeed ask for a 1-year suspension that starts immediately, and the NFLPA is not ruling out a decision from Peter Harvey before Friday night that would keep Deshaun Watson from playing in the preseason opener in Jacksonville. Definitely seems like it's going to come down soon, right? I would be shocked, honestly, if Deshaun Watson takes the field. Maybe it'll be something like Jameis Winston in college, right, at Florida State, when he came on the field dressed and Jimbo's like, dude, you're not playing. You are suspended. And he's like, I just wanted to come out and have fun. So I don't envision Deshaun Watson playing Friday. I think the NFL has made it very clear they do not want him to be on the field this year. And that would include the preseason. Now, speaking of the preseason, be honest with me for a second. Will you guys watch any of the preseason games? I hope so, even though, sure, preseason can be a bit of a tease because you're like, football is back, and then you learn after like 2 series, no, football is not back because Josh Rosen is not what I subscribe to this season. So I still think it's important to watch because like last year, we saw that A.J. Green and Richard LeCounte were awesome guys in the secondary. Hopefully this year, Michael Woods can get healthy and we can see what he can do for the Browns on offense because he has been a stud receiver so far in Berea. Speaking of training camp, I wanted to wrap up today's show with some training camp notes. Jeremy Fowler at ESPN made his rounds, and he wrote a little piece about some of the places he went, his observations. I thought some of them were pretty interesting that I wanted to share. First one up was Denzel Ward, okay? Fowler believes that the Browns are expecting Denzel to return in about the next 2 weeks, so sometime late August, so That should calm everyone's nerves about Denzel Ward being on the PUP list. He had a foot injury literally at the end of the last practice of minicamp. Just sucks timing-wise, right? It's just like you're almost done with practice. But regardless, hopefully Ward should be an absolute, no doubter. He's going to play week 1 in Carolina. Now, right before we started filming, Denzel Ward clapped back at Jamar Chase on Instagram because Jamar Chase hopped on some podcast, I don't know, and he was talking about Denzel Ward, and he was talking about the Bengals versus the Browns, and we're going to get him back this year. And Denzel Ward responded to that clip with just the video of the pick six in Cincinnati last year, the 99-yard pick six from the goal line, one goal line to the other. So if you are excited to see Denzel Ward lock down Jamar Chase, who, by the way, only had 75 receiving yards in 2 games against the Browns last season, type 21 down below. An interesting point that came across in Fowler's write-up was he locked in on Harrison Bryant, which not getting a ton of buzz right now. Tight end 2 moves up with Austin Hooper out. Last year with the Browns, 233 yards from 21 receptions and 3 touchdowns. Now here's what Fowler wrote. Tight end Harrison Bryant will have a pivotal role in the Browns offense. I heard his name multiple times before Sunday's camp practice as a player quarterbacks feel is a safety valve available on screens and intermediate routes. That showed up in the camp setting I watched. Complicating matters is the Browns need to enhance David Njoku, who is poised for a bigger output. Njoku has 55 catches over the past 2 years, numbers that will clearly increase now that he's signed to a 4-year, $54.75 million deal. But Bryant has impressed enough for an increased role too. Expect plenty of 2 tight end sets. So to kind of give some background here and just throw some stats on screen, remind everyone what these guys did last year. Both had good stretches, right? Remember Njoku, the Chargers game, he had some big moments. And then Harrison Bryant down the stretch last year, he had 3 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks of the season. It was the Raiders, the Packers, and I think it was the Steelers game. He didn't score in the final week against the Bengals. So Harrison Bryant definitely ended on a higher note last year. Would not be blown away if you see Harrison Bryant get a bit of an uptick, former 4th-round pick that last year definitely seemed more comfortable than compared to his rookie season. Plus, he's always been available. I think he has only missed 1 game in 2 seasons, maybe 2. Someone can fact check me. Poison Pill loves to do that. Deion Owens, you guys can do your job there. But overall, I'm excited. Whether it is Deshaun Watson or Jacoby Brissett, tight end is man's best friend. So whether it's Njoku or more 2 tight end sets, it's going to be an interesting room this year that's positioned and how it's going to play out. All right, everyone, that is it for today's show. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. If you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so.